It's funny. Most people think that building an empire, a huge business, a killer investment portfolio, or just real financial freedom is all about finding some secret hack or tactic. They think they need to add something new. But here's the thing. When you really study the people who build lasting, generational wealth, you find out something completely different. And this right here is the key. See, success isn't about adding more stuff. It's about getting rid of the things that are weighing you down. There are these subtle mindset traps that act like a giant anchor on your goals. And today, we're going to expose them. We call these poverty habits. And get this, they have absolutely nothing to do with how much cash is in your bank account right now. You could be a six-figure earner and still have these habits silently sabotaging your future. So let's get into the 4 most dangerous ones you need to get rid of right now. All right, first up, let's talk about the silent killer of pretty much every long-term goal out there. It works so quietly that you might not even realize it's there, but trust me, it's costing you everything. So this all boils down to a concept from economics called time preference. It sounds fancy, but it's really simple. It's just a way to measure how much you value getting something right now versus getting something even better later. And you can see the split right here. High time preference, well, that's the poverty habit. It's that little voice in your head screaming, I want it now. It's what makes you buy a flashy car on credit to look rich today instead of investing that exact same money to actually be rich in 5 years. Now, empire builders, they play a different game. They have a low time preference. They know that a little bit of patience now leads to a massive payoff down the road. So this is where you've got to get real with yourself. Take a hard look at your choices. Are you constantly buying a little bit of today at the massive expense of your tomorrow? Okay, so here's a challenge for you, a real practical one. Sometime tonight, pull up last month's bank statement. Go through it, line by line, and I want you to circle every single purchase that was just for a quick hit of pleasure instead of a long-term win. That final number, that's the real price you're paying for wanting everything now. All right, let's dive into habit number 2. Now, this one is probably the most comfortable, and because of that, the most disempowering trap you can possibly fall into. So this habit is all about a psychological concept known as your locus of control. It's really just about where you think the power in your life comes from. Is it inside you, or is it all based on outside forces you can't control? And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the victim. They have an external locus of control. For them, the problem is always out there. It's the economy, it's the market, it's their bad boss. And if the problem is out there, well, then they're powerless. They have to wait for someone else to fix it. But the architect? Totally different story. They have an internal locus of control. They take what I call radical responsibility. They say, you know what? I messed up. The solution is in here. How do I fix it? They take the power back. Okay, so I have a powerful little challenge for you. Just for the next 24 hours, I want you to catch yourself every single time you start to complain about something. And the moment you do, you have to stop and immediately follow it up with one single action you can take to make the situation even a tiny bit better. This is how you start shifting from being a victim to being an architect. All right, on to habit number 3. This is basically the default mode of the entire modern world. And honestly, it's pretty much designed to keep you broke and distracted. So you got to ask yourself a fundamental question. Are you a consumer or are you a creator? It's that simple. Consumers spend all day on input. They're scrolling social media, binge watching shows, soaking up the news cycle. And what happens when you do that? You're just making other people rich. Creators, on the other hand, they focus on output. They're the ones building things, creating content, solving problems. And that is how you build your own wealth. I mean, look at this chart. For most people, this is a shockingly accurate picture of their day, right? The time we spend consuming is massive, while the time we spend creating is, well, it's tiny. If you want to build an empire, you have to flip this ratio on its head. So here's a super simple rule to fix this. It's called the creation first rule. Before you open a single social media app, before you turn on Netflix, you have to spend the first 60 minutes creating something of value. That could be writing, planning a project, learning a new skill, even hitting the gym. Output before input, every single day. No exception. And that brings us to our final habit. And honestly, this might be the most profound one of them all. It's that deep human instinct to avoid the very thing that makes us grow. Friction. You've probably heard that old saying,
The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And it's a cliche for a reason, because it's absolutely true. The things we're most afraid of, having that tough conversation, risking failure, the daily grind of discipline, those are almost always the exact doorways to the things we want most in life.
We have to completely reframe how we think about pain. There's such a thing as good pain. It's that burn you feel after a great workout or the mental exhaustion after you've been in deep, focused work. And you've got to remember this truth. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret, that weighs tons. You have to stop optimizing for comfort and start optimizing for growth. Seriously, just let this idea sink in for a second. An empire, real strength, any kind of lasting success, it's not some big flashy event. It's a callus. It's something that's built up slowly, day by day, by consistently handling the friction that everybody else runs away from. So when you really boil it all down, you start to see that building an empire, it's not even really about the money, is it? It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle success, who can handle responsibility. It's about becoming the architect of your own damn life. So here it is, your empire building checklist. These are the 4 anchors you absolutely have to cut loose. First, drop that need for instant gratification. Second, kill the victim narrative for good. Third, create way more than you consume. And fourth, learn to embrace and even seek out the good pain of growth. And that leaves us with one last and maybe the most important question of all. Take a second. Be brutally honest with yourself and decide, which one of these 4 habits is the main anchor holding you back right now? Because just identifying it, that's the first step to cutting it loose for good.